Well, today I want to tell you a little bit about my sister and I's Olympic weightlifting career. Oh yeah, it's good. As well as a little extra motivation if you're feeling stuck. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and of course, what does Olympic weightlifting have to do with minimalism? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. So in high school, my sister and I, we were in soccer and basketball. The only problem with that being that we're 5'2", and well, basketball, I mean, it was kind of hopeless past middle school, and even soccer, our height could sometimes be limiting, right? We weren't as fast as some of the players. We couldn't stick our leg out to steal the ball quite as well as other people. And so we actually found ourselves in the weight room. We had an awesome weightlifting coach, and he was like, oh, you should try out for the Olympic weightlifting team. So this isn't like bodybuilding or anything like that. It's like a lot of things that you see in like CrossFit now, where it's like the clean and jerk and then the snatch lifts. And so they're Olympic lifts. And actually what was good was that it's okay to be short for that style of weightlifting. So it was really actually a good fit. We were one of the only girls that did it. My parents were like, they didn't know what to think. They probably still don't know what to think about it. But what I won't forget about that is our coach, one of his favorite expressions was, any excuse will do. And so if there was a day where we didn't feel like working out, or we'd say, oh, we had too much homework, or, a muscle was bothering us, we were tired from the last time, we didn't get a lot of sleep last night, whatever, he would say, okay, any excuse will do. Like, he wouldn't even miss a beat. And it was just, oh, yep, any excuse will do. And when he'd say that, you're like, oh, like, don't say that to me. I was rehearsing this excuse the whole way up to the weight room, and why are you saying this to me, But he would just, yep, any excuse would do. And so when I found myself, I've shared this story before, being a stay-at-home mom and just so sick and tired of cleaning up after the kids and cleaning up my house, like, what would I do? I'd be like, oh, well, the kids were extra crabby today, so that's why I didn't get the house cleaned up, Any excuse will do. Or I was actually working on a website project that was making money. So, why would I take away from making money just to pick up the house? I wasn't making any money doing that, right? Any excuse will do. And so day after day, I would just have these different excuses of why the house was how it was. And it was what it was, until I did get to the point where I'm like, enough of this already, because no one was winning in that situation, right? And like I've shared before, that's when I found minimalism, and it was awesome. But what I realized was, even finding this really cool tool and kind of guidelines now to simplify my house, I still had to put in the work. And so if there were days where I was like, oh, I just, rather watch TV while the kids are napping, or just go on Facebook or mindlessly, shop online or something like that, it was like, any excuse will do. And I would like hear these words in my head, like, any excuse will do. And so I was reading something the other day, and it was by a psychologist who said that at any given time, we find ourselves in one of two categories. We're either a victim or we're a player. And so players are the ones that they get things done, they make things happen. A lot of times as a stay-at-home mom, I wouldn't think of myself as a player necessarily, but but I'd realized that at a lot of times I had slid into that victim role. I would think to myself like, well, Tom gets to go to work and he gets to be with adults during the day and he gets to use his brain still, and here I am at home. I know they weren't right thoughts, and I'd feel guilty about that. But I'm just saying, at the time when I was in it, day after day, taking care of small kids, it was a lot of days where I would find myself. And so when I was in that state though, it was very hard to make things happen. So many of you have shared health challenges that you're dealing with. Chronic fatigue syndrome, how difficult would that be? Multiple physical surgeries that you've gone through. I mean, you have real reasons to fall into this category, but yet we know that we can visit there, but if we stay there, we don't make the progress that we're hoping to. And so somehow we have to figure out a way, myself included, I had to figure out how to go from this kind of negative state where I didn't have a lot of energy to put towards simplifying my house, even though I was convinced the benefits would be really good. I had to figure out a way to get back on top. And so there's a few things that I did, because at that time I didn't have the KonMari method. Joshua Becker hadn't written his latest book. He didn't have YouTube videos yet. And so a lot of days I kind of felt like I was, charting my own course in unknown territory. And so, but if we want to get back up on top so that we can be a player and we can get our house simplified and get it to the point where we want it to be, because we do trust the benefits are going to be so awesome. They're so awesome. They're so good. It's such a worthwhile journey. What do we need to do? So for us, the method that I used to simplify our house is often called like the onion method, where you just go layer by layer through your house. For example, like I'd go into the kids' bedroom, I'd have a garbage bag and a donation bag with me, and then also I would make a pile of stuff that didn't belong in that room. So my goal for that day would just be to find a bag of garbage and a bag of donation stuff, and then anything else that didn't belong in there. You know, if toys had found their way in there, I mean, kitchen utensils what doesn't find their way into a kid's bedroom, right? And so I would go through the room and I'd be like, you know what, I know these toys they have not played with, these books they have not read or they've outgrown, these clothes definitely, you know, they're not wearing anymore. I mean, almost every day I would try to tackle a different space, the kitchen, our bedroom, our closet, the bathrooms. I would just kind of make a pass around the house. And then what would happen? A few months later, I'm in their bedroom again and I'm like, how did this make the cut? How did I not get rid of these toys or these clothes or these books before? And then I would take out a little more. And then the next time I'd go through and I would take out a little more. And so the good thing about this is it's a very gentle process, and through it, like I've talked about before, you're gaining confidence in your decision making. You're starting to experience what it feels like to have less stuff. It worked really well for me working on it by myself and not having huge chunks of time to dedicate to it on any given day. And so that worked really well for us. And like I've said before, it took about a year, but it is so worthwhile. I would do it all over again. If it took 2 years, I would do it because of the impact it's made on our house. I've mentioned it before. Another great source of inspiration is Joshua Becker's book, The Minimalist Home. So I'll put a link to that down below as well, and how you can listen to it for free on Audible. That is a wealth of information and provides a lot of motivation and just step-by-step guidance. But the other thing that I've come to realize now through this process is we just have to keep the things in our house in proper perspective. So in the last video, I talked about how powerful our stuff is in the respect that it causes us to feel things about ourselves, whether we're messy, we're unorganized, we're lazy, we've spent money on things we shouldn't have, things like that. But on the other hand, what I want to encourage you today is that there is nothing in my house that I regret getting rid of. And as we've gone further and further, all I can say is, oh my goodness, it's so awesome. Get rid of all of your stuff, because what you're gonna find is that it is so cool living with less stuff, not having to take care of it, not having to clean it, not having to worry about the kids pulling it all out or people stopping by and your house being a mess. And what I realized through that process is, for example, like this is my favorite coffee cup, right? I love this coffee cup. It has like little bumps on it. So I don't know, I just really like the texture of it. It's from Target, Threshold brand, but I think they're discontinued, so they're a little bit tricky to find now. I love this mug and I wouldn't necessarily want to get rid of it, but what I really like is the coffee inside it, right? So the coffee is actually more important to me than the mug, and I could drink my coffee out of 20 different mugs on any given day. I like this shirt. It's comfortable. I was feeling like a little springy today, so I wanted to wear a lighter color, and I really like this shirt. But what's more important is the people that I'm talking to, that I'm getting to visit with you while I'm wearing this shirt. I love our house. I love the projects we've done to make it look nicer, what we did to the kitchen. I love this house. I hope I get to live here the rest of my life. But what's actually more important is the people that I'm living here with. I cannot think of a single item in my house that actually adds value to my life. Have you ever, been in a situation where you got bad medical news, or a loved one of yours got bad medical news, or you found out there had been an accident, or something happened to someone that you really care about? In that instant, nothing else matters. Not a single physical item in your house matters. It doesn't matter how much monetary value it holds, who it was passed down from, anything like that. None of that stuff matters, right? Because the only thing that actually matters are the people in our life and our physical health. And so I know this process can be daunting. I know what it's like to look around my house and feel overwhelmed, because I'm the type of person that I do well with like smaller projects, right? Like big projects, they stress me out and they overwhelm me. So looking around at my whole house, it was almost debilitating at first, because I'm like, am I really gonna get there? But then when I actually looked at it, like, you know what? This is just stuff. It can all be replaced. All of this stuff is so easy to replace, but what's not are the people, our kids. We got to meet Becca the other night, and she said it so well that, you know, when the kids' toys get all over the floor and then she steps on one of them, and then what does she find herself doing? Yelling at her kids, right? Like, why are these toys on the floor? Why aren't they picked up? That's not, you know, that's not the parents that we want to be to our kids. And yeah, once in a while it happens and it is what it is, but day in and day out, that's not who we want to be. We want to have a space that inspires us to be patient and compassionate and to be able to think about ways to be more present with the people in our life and the people that really matter most. And so what could you do today? Can you take, you know, 2 garbage bags, one for donation and one for garbage, go to a bedroom in your house? Could you go, you know, take a pass through your kitchen and pull out the stuff that you're not using? I promise you, you are gonna look back and be so grateful for it, and you're not gonna worry about the things you got rid of, or, you know, if you accidentally got rid of something, because it's just so easy to replace again. But more importantly, you're just really gonna start to love how your house is feeling. So I hope that's encouraging to you. You can do it. If you haven't already, I hope you subscribe so that we can keep in touch. I would love to know what you're working on decluttering right now. Be sure to share it down below. Share, you know, where you find inspiration and what tips and tricks work best for you, because that's really inspiring to others. Or if you're just feeling a little stuck, share that down below as well so that we can encourage you. Thank you so much for watching. A thumbs up is the best compliment that you can give us, and I will look forward to visiting with you again really soon.